Thank you. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Bob Newser. I'm the captain with the state police. I'm the Ulster and Greene County Zone Commander. First off, I want to commend both Chief Tinty and Cruz for coming up with this idea. In law enforcement, we go out and we do our job, and a lot of times the public, other than what they read in the Daily Freeman, they see on YNN, they don't know really what we're doing. And it's not just about making an arrest. We're actually doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes to ensure that the public and the common good is preserved. I want to start off just talking a little bit about the state police. If Hugh Reynolds is still here, he's talked about a little bit of history. Colonel George Chandler was the person who created what you see in the New York State Trooper, and he's a Kingston resident. In 1917, our mission was patrolling the rural areas of New York State on horseback. Obviously, times have changed, and if no greater evidence than that was on September 11th, when within a few hours of that event, 500 state troopers had deployed to New York City to work with the largest police department in the country. That cooperation that went on then is seen here in Ulster County every day. The city of Kingston is not the New York City Police Department, but the level of cooperation that the state police, the sheriff's department, and the town of Ulster police share with the city of Kingston police enables us to do those type of responses when necessary. In Ulster County, in 1994, we saw the Woodstock Festival, and we had deployed 500 troopers to that event. And even in 2005, I think it was when Hal Turner came to Kingston to spew his white supremacist venom. We responded with the Sheriff's Department and the State Police. I believe Ulster was even in on the coordinated plans for that event. And we brought 100 troopers in onto that event. And I think collectively, what you saw that day was instead of a boiling pot of venom coming from this guy, it was a controlled situation and ultimately a safe environment. The reason I talk about those other events that we've brought to the county with the state police is that we're able to do that because of the relationships we have. And I think the sheriff talked about the relationships here in Ulster County as being incredible. I've worked throughout New York State. I was in charge of our emergency service unit. And I worked in some very contentious areas of New York State where the relationships weren't what we have here, where we work together and we try to work for the common good. I saw the territorialism that went on with small and large agencies alike that didn't want their big brother, so to speak, from the state police there helping them. The chiefs here in Ulster and the city of Kingston are embracing what we bring to the table. And that's important for the taxpayers in these two communities to know that they're making the most out of these resources that we have. If we're not used here, we will go elsewhere. And I don't think you'll see a big change in your state tax burden if the state troopers move elsewhere. I think the Chief Tinty talked about Operation Clean Sweep. I think we brought 50 investigators. There's 25 Troop F investigators and another 25 CNET investigators. That's our Community Narcotics Enforcement Team. Not to run an investigation, but to work with the City of Kingston Police to collectively eradicate a drug problem. And I think in 26 years of law enforcement work, and I can't tell you how many countless raids I've been on with our mobile response team and as a trooper and a supervisor of Troop F, it was one of the largest and most successful drug raids that I've been to in 26 years of law enforcement. I talked a little bit about our mission change from rural patrolling on horseback to working with large agencies. Sometime in the late 1990s, we formed with the City of Kingston Police what we call the Blue and Gray Patrols. And the trooper and the city police officer would ride collectively together and target quality of life issues in the City of Kingston. So it was actually before September 11th. We had those relationships working. What we do now with Operation Impact is we take the intelligence that we get from those meetings, and sometimes it's a combined effort with troopers and deputies and city and town police officers. Sometimes it's just troopers randomly coming into the city and targeting those areas through high visibility traffic stops and just the presence of a uniformed patrol in an area that Chief Tinty mentioned in zones 2 and 3. We tell the troopers, when you're passing through the city, make sure your presence is seen in those high crime areas. It's taking some of the intelligence we've gleaned from these meetings and moving them in the right direction. Talk about the Operation Impact, but there's also the Police Chiefs Association, where all of us, not just these four agencies, the State Police, Sheriff's Department, the City of Kingston, the Town of Ulster, but every agency in Ulster County, working together on a myriad of common interests and working towards bringing them back to the communities that they serve and providing a good service throughout their areas. I think the chief, both of them talked about proactive and reactive patrols and calls for service. The state police in 2012 handled about 600 calls, whether they were arrests or responded to incidents within the city of Kingston. In addition to that, there was 2,000 traffic stops that resulted in traffic tickets. We don't document traffic stops where a ticket isn't issued, but there were 200 traffic stops where a ticket was issued. In the town of Ulster, there was 2,100 calls for service where we either responded on our own or with them to assist at a call, and another 4,000 traffic stops through ticket issuing. In a big picture, it's a small portion of what happens in the city of Kingston, but it's the fact that the chiefs welcome us into their communities and embrace that unified support to get the job done. That's what's important. I think on the slide here we have a few of the major resources we provide to the city of Kingston, the town of Ulster, and throughout the state. This county, this community embraces those resources and uses them on a regular basis. Our major crimes unit brings in a plethora of investigators and outside resources to help with large-scale major incidents. Our community narcotics enforcement team I talked about already. We have a computer crime unit that will take a computer apart, dissect it, and work towards what's in there that a local agency may not have the resources to do that. Several times over the last year, our collision reconstruction unit came out to assist the city of Kingston Police with, I think, a couple of motor vehicle accidents, and there's one or two occasions where we had them out for the trainers, where we had train incidents. It's just another resource that we bring to the table. Everyone has seen our aviation unit on multiple occasions responding to the city, to the county area, our bomb disposal unit, our scuba unit. The scuba unit was evident during the plane crash last year out on the Kingston-Rycliffe Bridge. And it wasn't just a state police show, it was a unified effort. That was one of those scenes where you could see the state police, the sheriff's department, the town of Ulster Police, Ulster Hose Fire Department. There was a myriad of fire departments out there. It was an ABC alphabet agency show of support, but getting the job done for the common good. The continued collaborative efforts by all of these agencies will ensure that I can continue to bring the resources that the state police have to the table when they're needed. I hope we don't have another event like Woodstock 94, though there's been some rumblings. I know the chief of Sororities of the city of Kingston residents sitting in the background, just waiting for the Woodstock to come back up there. I'd prefer not to have that, but if it's good for the county, we're part of the equation, and we're going to be here for that. I can't stress enough, and I think the sheriff touched on it a lot, the relationships that exist in law enforcement in Ulster County are better than anyone in the state. I've worked throughout the state. I've worked the last 3 years in Dutchess County, and I have some great friends, and we have some great relationships over there. They pale in comparison to what we have here. There's not a week that goes by that I don't talk to the sheriff, the undersheriff, the chief of, you name it, any police department in this county about something that they need that we can bring to the table, or vice versa, something that we're working on that we need to turn to them for. This forum has been an opportunity for the public to see what those relationships are, and I hope that we continue to work with those relationships and move forward in the future. Thank you.